Okay, first up today, Carl. I'm currently an independent dispatcher. Oh, this is going to be good. This goes right into what we were talking about a moment ago. I'm currently an independent dispatcher contracted with several trucking companies. I've been thinking about starting my own freight brokerage so that I can expand my business. I'd like to keep dispatching, though. Would this be a conflict of interest, and how hard would it be to start a freight brokerage? Thanks in advance. Well, Carl, if you just heard everything we talked about a moment ago about what the FMCSA is doing, that kind of gives you an arrow pointing you in the direction of, yeah, you need to get into brokering as fast as you can. So you've got some customers already built up. Now, as a broker working under a licensed broker, you may, or if you are a licensed broker, let me put it that way, you may want to offer a dispatch service. But you're going to have to be different. You know, your normal SOP has got to change. But what makes it nice, and I think you're going to find that once you start building your brokerage operation, you're not going to want to have anything to do with the dispatch service. And let me kind of explain why. As a dispatch service, you're making maybe 10% on what the broker's paying you if you're getting the loads off the load board. So let's say the broker's paying $1,000 to move a load. Well, the broker's probably making $1,250, something like that. They're paying you $1,000. You're going to make 10% of that $1,000. Trucking company's going to get $900. You're going to make $100. So, right now, right here alone, in your head, you should have put together the numbers. The broker made $250. You only made $100. You see what I mean? This is what I'm saying. You're not want to go. You're really not going to want to do a dispatch service because you're going to make more money from your broker operation, not the dispatch operation. We had a client with TALTOA here a while back that was a dispatch service. I mean, that's all they talked about. I was a dispatch. I had a dispatch service. I know what I'm doing. Blah 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 blah. She went through training, or they went through training, I should say. And they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it. Now we're going to stay dispatchers. They were going to go into the mentorship program, decided they didn't want to do that. They were going to stay dispatchers. The reason they didn't want to do the mentorship operation was why, well, in the mentorship program, those in the mentorship program, after they complete training with TALTOA, you can begin your broker operation as a freight broker agent. And yes, as a freight broker agent in the mentorship program, it pays standard commission, 60% of profit to the agent. So they were like, well, why should I give up 40%? I'm getting 100% as a dispatcher. No, you're getting 100% of your 10%. Anyway, when it comes to that kind of thinking, all you can do is say, hey, good luck. If you need anything, we're here to help once you take the blinders off and, you find out what's really going on. But the thing is, once you begin your broker operation, yes, the startup period's not going to be simple. I'll just tell you that right now. You know it. Everybody knows it. Any startup is rough because you got to really put a lot of effort into it. You've got to build the business, and that's exactly why we have the mentorship program at TALTOA, to allow new people to get out there, start getting experience. But the main thing is build the customer base. Without customers, you have nothing. You've got to have customers. Then you start getting loads. Then you start working out how to move those loads. What freights do trucking companies call you about? What freight does trucking companies want to move? What customers do you have that have good rates or freight that trucking companies want? It gives you the opportunity to start building that customer base so you can begin gaining that experience so you're able to start working your way out of that startup period and start focusing on producing an income. It takes time. It's a process. So many people get into this industry, expecting riches tomorrow. No, it's going to take months. It's going to take months. Now, Carl, would it be a conflict of interest to have a freight brokerage with a dispatch service? No, not necessarily. I don't see that at all. As long as you're not using load boards. If you're using a load board, working under a broker under your own authority, even though you got a contract with a trucking company to work as a dispatcher for that trucking company, as an independent dispatcher, I'm sure the freight broker you're getting the load from for that trucking company wouldn't appreciate knowing that you're a broker. They probably frown on that. That you're borderline double brokering. You're borderline double brokering anyway as an independent dispatch service. The only thing that saves you is the trucking company has given you permission to work under their license and act on their behalf to procure loads for their truck, meaning you can go to a broker to get a load. But you are a broker when you're, a freight broker agent. And again, it goes back to what I said a moment ago. Once you start building that customer base, you start, you see the numbers and you start doing the math. Why would you want to be a dispatch service? Carl, if you got questions about that or want to talk more about it, feel free to call me, 479-668-0838.